dot. Men and we're at the beginning of a new wave of research. Creative powers of the inspections, and we are leading surprising things about how we sent to the world around us. Exploring the mysteries of the spoken word. Lawyers. Pictures to us, resistors. Wear well with one another. So I think in the first, go around here, we come back, these men are design engineers at Bell Telephone Laboratories, the research and development part of the Bell system. They're about to engage the new breed of computer called Graphic One in a dialogue that will test the ingenuity of both man and machine. It's a new way of working out abstract problems in the age-old medium of drawing and designs, which explains why the technique is called computer graphics. Our researchers have an idea for a telephone filter circuit tryout, but they need a ready answer for the problem. If they do this, what will happen? They could spend many hours in the workshop building and testing the real thing. They'll draw their second directly on the Graphic One's cathode ray tube. The operator talks to the computer with an electronic like Tim, precise and easy job of assembling the symbolic parts of its side. Connecting them as it goes along. Probably much more readable. Three term realized on the lower right hand, the stones. If they change their plan, that's no problem out there. There's no need to memorize complex rules, for the computer signals the action when it's ready. If the researchers have done a good job of programming what they designed to do, the computer's quick to point out any breakdown in their logic. Hip-hop. Level of mumble, this dissipation, package, make that one I don't, also striking. The design is complete, but will it work? At this stage, a remotely located master computer takes over calculating the performance currents of the circuit. Harris. Pat. Also lost. Was also have to worry about the amplified based on thirds. And so is letting say we're not doing it right. That's a good. How much trouble is that they get just buying the right place and make the appropriate change order on the whole. Let's make a party a call of or to say columnar one square and right once worked to see what will get that program going through these line of consulting graphic. Laboratory scientists are collaborating on experimental computer made movie, and brightness idea of you being able to two programs. And so we know deal of this sponsor of this, it don't know what exists images, and it's is interesting to me, thinks that enough because in a sense the computer it has done exactly what you told us to do, right? There's shooting script is and of several programming languages available operations. This one Disflex, short for Bell Labs Flex. This is an excerpt from the articles in the country cards will be this fit into the computer winding up was a reel of recorded time learning. I've got another story near Andrea Arsenal. I don't know. Great house. Suffers. Walkie-talkie Hispanic just explaining clean air. 5.670. David perfectly focus. And under computer control on the trade information is prohibited in rapidly moving made up of a final Edwards varying line intensity. The synchronized movie camera more demanding with photographs, the best moving images as they're plotted and rung on the face of the cathode ray tube. The brutal purple from People Broke Rabbin. On Remind Bravo, all these hadn't usually happened for her. Don't have higher being. Resistant than. Manual and balloons. Promotion Republican. Phylogeny charter, this technology only cooperate and have the 2 weeks ago frist was felt lines be able to sit someplace in a railroad station and write a movie, or maybe even think of a telephone of entry and write a movie. Besides, creating unique visual effects, and a movie is going to show phenomena, we can do renderings, eating, this bill in the scraps, the motion of the communication satellite by starting in the... Scientists can obtain new insight into the satellite stabilizing a man orbiting alongside a good observant in the same way in room... Experiment is in visual perception, using computers to create patterns that never occurred in real life, to find out how people see when these patterns are shown to these veterans, curiously reminiscent of a point in a century. I just sort of was beautifully integrated paintings are formed by Compass computer like docs and actions. The other server is an incredibly methodical technique that produced only a dozen or so paintings in his lifetime. Today, researchers are generating that many in a single day. 2. Vishay contains your proceeds objects of studies that look deep into the future of communications. When we learn how to separate the relevant from irrelevant, we'll be on the way to sending three-dimensional over ordinary telephone lines. Mother, with him. And then we found that when you get back, are now not only do the small pictures disappear because they're not close enough to see them individually, and the picture across, but you get even further back than the picture takes on a continuous tone part is not where's photograph, where then generated spatially quantized right on one of the you can drop quite a distinguishable picture, unjustly 11 by 11 array of black spots, unlike spots. The entire musical score accompanying this film was composed of a computer, can produce nearly endless, their issues aside, better ways. Tonight's speech is still very common. Music is simple. Salivate. Using it. Describe you thinking. And also be used for speech. Deal by spending Nixon. Really, the easily your and programming as well as like composing for conventional musical instruments, accepted note replaced by numbers, the computer converts these numbers into impulses that cause sound waves to come directly from a lot of cruel regarding marrying. Money, who, right. What actually happens when we hear sounds? We know that the membrane of the interior changes sound waves into audible sensations. But until recently, no one had seen the whole inner ear connection. Then sound waves strike the membrane and makes thousands of microscopic movements per second. Qualify computer recalculate your and for that first time, borrowing his product. It takes several minutes of this motion to draw out the simple ceremony. Since the model of the interest being expressed that the Medicare, it can be pictured in different ways. In this version, the membrane is requiring as it receives shocks from simulated somewheres. Outside and saw their problems in showing three-dimensional movies insecure. These movies are from Boston. There are some people feel quite interesting. Suppose it as an educational for character allows people to mathematicians achieved before, practice people who've seen most interesting medical doctors. People are going on Darwin's renewed. Seemingly so simple is a very complicated process no one believed understands brutally. Mundial all mean manual unit. More energy and reminded about Andrew. I have more Memorial Day today. Remember our agreement on Martin. Barbara J. Art again. Coffee or novel. Made by tomorrow. Here Manhattan. McBride. Work for you. These words were spoken by a digital computer programmed to stimulate the speaking machine. Much of what we know about force in speech is stored in the computer's memory. From there, we can experiment with more advanced ideas in areas that are still unknown. Take stress. How do we always seem to know which just parts of a spoken words to emphasize? Let's start this inside that sentence. Basketball more. Scientists can only begin to explain how we speak. Please stress lives without thinking. Giving them fine the shadings of Pitchman intensity, or a lot of Charlie mostly black. At the in chains that stress on outside. When fanatics simples of it combines them into intelligible speech. Are in our age articles you back are large articles gradually. But let's see if it had a quietly look at the picture. High paying jobs right away. Media inflection and is strong. Or a large lawyer tells you that. That's the fact that improved back. Our large articles collapsed. The art of computer graphics feeds on the inner city, yet it already stimulating the rate of only have where it is to get complex and unwieldy. It offers not only the means to quicken the pace of discovery, but an ideal way of communicating what we may discover room. And what? And what? No one?